So, what's your name?
My name's Clint Leonard, fishing the Bassmaster Opens. Right now we're sitting on Santee Cooper at Bell's Resort and Marina. This is practice day. Tournament starts on Wednesday, and right now we're just out here trying to catch some fish out in the lake.
That's pretty awesome. Clint, right?
Yes, sir.
So, Clint, well, how old are you?
19.
19. You look older than that, but you look young. So, I think that's pretty cool. Like, just without, being involved in fishing in this, like, in the industry like this, I just had no idea, like, there was younger. I always think of, like, older guys, right? In their 40s, 50s, 60s, going out and doing these things. But, like, you're 19. Is that kind of a new thing?
Yeah, it is. So the high school fishing has blown up so far in the past couple years. There's been a lot of MLF and BASS high school tournaments all around the country trying to get some younger kids in fishing. The college circuit's also blown up. There's a lot of colleges right now that are actually making it an official college sport to go fish, and they'll pay for scholarships, and they'll pay for you to go, your fuel and hotels to go stay to fish at some of these tournaments.
That's amazing.
Right now, there's been a lot of young anglers trying to get into the opens and stuff right now. There's actually on the Bassmaster Elite side, there was just a 19-year-old that won the Bassmaster Elite.
A 19-year-old won the Bassmaster Elites.
Yes.
And what, like, who was he competing against?
He was competing against some of the best that
Wow.
fish the Elites. You have to qualify through the opens in order to make it that far.
This is almost like the new Tiger Woods, like what happened with golf is happening with pro fishing, right?
Yes, there's been a lot of young guys starting to make their way into it and really show some of the older guys new techniques and strategies on how to fish.
Because you guys you're not stuck in your ways, right?
No, yeah, it's all about adapting and learning. That's why some of the stuff we put on our boats right now is just adapting with everything that's been going on, the new technologies that have been advancing.
Interesting. And do you think even some of the pros that could have access to that maybe are not adapting it as quickly as someone like you might?
Some of the older guys are definitely more against using the newer technologies, and
Fair enough.
they're trying to still fish the older ways, which they're still doing a great job of doing. But the new technology has really helped some of the younger anglers and the older guys decide to actually take part in the technologies.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I can appreciate that there can be hey. I can see that there's a reason that, the older guys are like, hey, we don't, if you can see everything that's happening down there, that makes it too easy or whatever.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you're in a competition. I mean, how much money's at stake here?
First place takes $50,000.
$50,000. And what is this boat? I mean, this is not a $10,000 boat, is it?
No, this boat will run you about $95,000 to $100,000.
Right. So you're looking at a $100,000 boat. Not to mention all the money all the pay-ins you have to do, right, for the tournaments, all the travel. So there's a lot of money, and there's a lot of money at stake.
Yeah.
And it's a business as well as a sport, right?
Yes. These tournaments are $2,000 to get into.
Wow.
A piece.
Wow.
So
Right. So you gotta pay to play.
Yeah, you gotta put up some good money if you want to actually take part in this.
Wow. Amazing. What inspired you? You said you did this in high school or
I started tournament fishing in middle school.
middle school?
Yeah,
Wow.
seventh grade year is it was teen sports fishing in Florida.
Really?
Is what got me into it, and in high school we had Osceola anglers in Florida, and that just grew my love and passion for fishing and the sport and the industry involved with everybody in it, and I just knew I wanted to do this for a living.
That's pretty awesome to follow your passion like that. What's been your biggest challenges?
My biggest challenge is really just being a young guy trying to get into this sport and trying to figure out all the techniques and stuff that it gets put into it, because it's all just fishing in the long run, but there's definitely a lot of techniques and mental patterns that you have to go through in order to achieve well in this sport, making connections with people. They say if you want to fish professionally, you got to have a lot of money or a lot of connections. So I've just been trying to branch out with the connections and getting to know people.
Interesting. And I mean, in some ways, you could compare it. In fact, we're talking to another professional fisherman that was kind of talking about someone who did an interview that had a professional athlete trainer that was going with him, because so much of it is psychological. And if you're a gymnast, it's incredibly physical, but it's also like 50% mental, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of the same thing?
Yes, you have to have a positive mindset when you're out on the lake. If you're not catching fish, it's easy just to get down and start kicking yourself and trying to do crazy ways that you don't know of. But Gerald Swindle, the guy he was talking about, one of his famous quotes was, the guys on like the last days that aren't doing good, they just want to go swing for the fences and stuff. And he said, you can't swing for the fences if the pitcher's not on the mound.
Right.
And so you gotta take a step back and take a breath, even if you gotta stop for a second, sit down, take a breath, and realize you know what you're doing out here. You just gotta put your strengths to work.
Wow. Well, I think it's pretty inspirational, and I think there's a lot of young people that could take a lot from that and really see what you're doing and be able to run with that, because I think that you guys are both pushing the envelope in technology, but also just getting out of high school, right? And like running with the big boys, literally. So I think that's amazing, and I'm excited to see where the sport goes with that. Do you want to show us a little tour of your boat and some of this technology we've been talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can start with the back.
Okay.
The Mercury 250, and then you got the dual power poles that help you stay in your spots when you're in the shallower water.
Right. So these push down and basically act like anchors, right?
Yes, sir. It's all just shallow water anchoring system.
Okay. All right.
And then I have the one graph for now at the console. Just have all my mapping and side scan and down imaging. And then slowly work up. You have the 2 rod boxes with all the...
Now hold on. What's this joystick here? Is this for the ejection seat if you need to get a better view?
Yeah, this is the spare seat you got to keep in case the camera guy's on the boat.
Okay.
So I have a spare seat for the back.
Oh, and is that just a way to hold on, kind of, or what is that? Oh, that locks down. I get it. It flips around. Okay. All right.
And then got the dual console. Put anything you need.
Okay.
All the phone keys.
Right.
All the tackle storage.
Okay, so this is all right. This keeps all your tackle.
Yeah.
You can get your gear. How do you organize your tackle for different
not really
situations?
organized right
Okay.
now. It's in tournament mode. It's usually pretty clean in here before I come to the tournaments.
Got it. But you'll have all your rigs and you can just set up. You pre-rig everything.
Yeah. Everything's going. For right now, I have the single Lowrance in the front, paired with the Lowrance Ghost trolling motor, with active target on the front. So I am able to put the trolling motor down and see the fish swimming as we're going.
Wow.
And then watching my bait flip out and hopefully get them to bite. That's definitely the hardest part with it.
Huh. And does this change the way you fish a little bit by looking at the Lowrance and having the system?
It does a lot. So it's when you pull up to an area, you can put the trolling motor down, you can pan around for a little bit, and you're able to see if there's fish in that structure.
So that's not just a trolling motor, that's effectively an underwater camera.
Yes, that's what a lot of guys are getting mad at these days fishing professionally.
Yeah.
Is the active targets, because a lot of guys, I have a second unit sitting at home, it's a Garmin, and I'm waiting to get the live scope for it, so I'll be running 2 live scopes off the front. And then you also have the Humminbird 360 that a lot of guys have been running, and it's just a lot of people saying it's taking the fishing out of the fishing, but at the end of the day, you still got to get the fish to eat. So
right.
I don't see it as too much of a bad thing to have.
If you're in a tournament and they allow it, and you're playing for money, then I could certainly see
some of the guys,
how that's hard to argue with.
Some of the guys are even putting them on the backs of their boats, so while they're idling around, they can live scope and see, and they don't have to get out of the driver's seat.
Wow.
That's one of the neat things, and that's the whole thing. Is their whole reasoning is until they put restrictions on it, they're just going to keep.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, they're going to keep getting better with
until we get drone fishing, right?
Yeah, that's probably the next thing. Is you'll be able to tap on the screen and see how big the fish is.
Yeah, you can just hang out at home, launch it, have a beer. But yeah, I could definitely see both sides to that. And I mean, the cool thing about a lot of the tournament fishing is it is a catch and release, right?
Yes.
So I mean, at the end of the day, whatever tools you're using to do it, that you can do as a competitor, you're doing, and it's not like you're wiping out a fish population or anything. You're just
Yeah, a lot of the guys, I mean, we got to put them in the live wells. If you bring them in and they're not alive, you start getting penalties and they start reducing your weight. So fish care is obviously one of the more important things of here too, but a lot of people do get mad at the live scope.
Yeah. I'm with you. Well, it's pretty cool technology, and it's quite a machine, man. So anyways, we appreciate you coming out, and see if I can flip this around. But yeah, I appreciate you being at Bell's Marina.
Yes,
How's
sir.
it been staying here?
It has been really good staying here. I've had no complaints about the rooms. They have a boat ramp, so I can put the boat right in the water every morning. If I wanted to leave the boat out, there's spots you can reserve to be able to keep your boat in the water at all times, which is a very big plus.
Well, that's awesome. I wish you the best of luck, and I think, you know, being a young guy, as I said, is really an advantage, because I think there's a lot of brands that would like, that's something very unique, and
Yes,
you've
sir.
been able to do a lot at your age, and whether you're winning or losing right now, you're already a winner for being out here and having 10 years on a lot of these guys out here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.